guys, how's it going? Welcome back. My name is Boomy and you're watching my channel Boomy Reactions. Now today guys, we're going to be watching a foodie video. So we're going to be having a look at why Cincinnati chili is the most controversial chili. Now this video has been requested by one of my wonderful patrons. This is from David. Thank you so much, my lovely. Now David says, Boomy, on your recent package delivery from the US, you received several cans of Skyline Chili with which to make Cincinnati chili. I absolutely did. I still haven't had a taste. I'm reserving it because I want to try it for the first time in a video. So I do need to do that soon. This week, Weird History Food highlighted this Skyline chili, giving the history and the details about this style of chili. Everything you ever wanted to know. So here's a video to watch before opening the first can. This video is why this is the most controversial chili in America. Okay, controversial chili. Is it because quite a few of you eat it with pasta? I think, is that why? Or is it something to do with the addition of beans or no beans? I know I've said a few times, I'm going to try and speak on behalf of most people in the UK. I would say, when we make a chili, what we think of as chili is, generally speaking, ground beef, in like a tomato kind of base, you know, with a bit of beef stock in there. I would hazard a guess and say most Brits would assume you had to have some form of bean in there, not just because we love beans, and we do. But I think it's kind of marketed to us as well. If you were to get like a ready meal, like a chili con carne, it would always have beans in it, I'd say. But yeah, that's a whole no beans debate. I'm not touching that one. But we do love beans. So maybe that's why all of the chilies that are marketed to us have beans in them, just because we naturally love them. Although they do tend to be more kidney beans than the beans that we'd have on toast. We wouldn't eat kidney beans on toast. That's a bit too far. It's just Heinz baked beans. But we do love our beans. Anyway, so I'm guessing the controversy is because it's eaten with spaghetti or noodles. Now, I don't know a great many Brits that do that. I don't know any. So I think if you were to say to us, go and make a chili con carne, or just a chili, we would make what I described before, you know, with a little bit of seasoning going on there. You know, we're Brits after all. Don't want to push the boat too far. It's got a little bit of seasoning, bit of Cajun seasoning in there, a little bit of spice, but not too much. So yeah, and we'd serve it with rice. I don't think it would ever occur to anyone to eat it with pasta or spaghetti. So I'm going to hazard a guess and say that might be why it's controversial, but I don't know. Let's see what the video is going to tell us, guys. And if you're enjoying these reactions, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, my lovelies. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me Coffee account. That link is over here. And if you would like to help support my channel any further, I have a Patreon account. And if you want to check that out at all, that link is in the description below there. Okay. Tell me why.
For most of the world, chili is supposed to be thick, spicy, and eaten with a spoon. So naturally, the people of Cincinnati looked at that tradition and said, what if we poured it on spaghetti, added cinnamon, and yelled at anyone who used a knife? And somehow, it worked. Which is why today we're taking a look at how Skyline Chili works.
Okay.
When it absolutely shouldn't.
I'd be very interested in trying it on a hot dog, like a chili dog. I bet that'd be delicious. So there's the cinnamon in it. Okay, I can get on board with that. I love cinnamon, and yeah, I can see it really working in a chili, you know. Oh gosh, don't sharpen the pitchforks. I think it'd work. Like chocolate in chili.
But before we get into the most polarizing bowl-adjacent food in America, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other regional foods you would like to hear about.
It does actually. So straight away, I'm trying to find the differences. So I would say, and bear in mind what we consider a chili over here probably has no authenticity. It's not authentic to what it's meant to be at all. I do understand that. But, you know, just from what we think a chili. is, I would say we would have tomato in it. There'd be a bit more of a tomato base, so it wouldn't look as gravy like as this, because it's very brown, isn't it? So is there very little or no tomato in a Cincinnati chili? I love all that cheese on top. The more cheese, the better.
Okay, bundle up because it
Looks
is
like
about to
gravy.
get chilly.
So it's not thick at all, this.
For those who have never encountered Cincinnati chili before, the first reaction is usually confusion, followed by an unnerved suspicion of whoever recommended it. And that's because calling Cincinnati chili chili is less a description and more a marketing strategy. It's like if
okay.
someone poured gravy over pasta and said, "Relax, it's Italian chili." You can object, but the name is already on the sign. And
Oh gosh, those look a bit like udon noodles, don't they? They look really fat and thick. I love the volume of cheese that's going on here. Yeah, I'm glad the narrator said that. It does look like a gravy, doesn't it?
now you're the weird one for asking questions. The point is, Cincinnati chili is like a teenager who's heard Pig Destroyer for the first time. They both refuse to play by society's rules. Traditional chili, or chili con carne, is thick, chunky, aggressively savory, and meant to be eaten from a bowl with a spoon. It's
So I would say that is what Brits recognise as chili with beans, just because we love them.
warm, rustic, and has ingrained itself so deeply into the fabric of American culture through cook-offs and diners that many now group it with hot dogs and apple pie as an American mainstay. Cincinnati chili, however, is another story. It's thin, sweet, and has a smooth consistency that borders more on sauce than what most people usually picture when thinking about chili. In fact, if it were a touch more red, you'd probably mistake it for something made by ragu. And that
Oh, yeah, I suppose you would. I like those diced onions that are there as well. I love onions. Is it a messy? If you put it on the hot dogs, they put it on the hot dog bun there, didn't they? I can imagine that's quite messy.
That difference is where the controversy begins.
Okay.
To chili purists, Cincinnati chili feels like a lie. It's not spicy enough. It doesn't have the right texture. And chili definitely shouldn't be anywhere near spaghetti. To a real chili-phile, calling this chili feels like calling a hot dog a sandwich.
Oh,
That's because
my.
Cincinnati chili is best described as a spiced meat sauce, wearing a
Okay.
chili name tag. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So first, a little history.
The Cincinnati Skyline.
The story of Skyline Chili actually starts with the story of Empress Chili, founded in 1922 by Macedonian immigrants Tom and John Kirijev. Empress Chili was one of the earliest Cincinnati chili parlors, named after a nearby burlesque theater, which definitely seems like a more appropriate use for the name. Empress is pretty much solely responsible for standardizing the Cincinnati chili style. The thin sauce, the spice blend, the spaghetti pairing. Empress did it all. Their chili was affordable, fast, and approachable. Everything a good regional food should be. And
Now, with association with the burlesque house, I think they just like the controversy.
to be clear, they were not trying to create a regional identity. They were just trying to make rent. But in doing so, they accidentally invented a genre, which kind of makes them the dark souls of restaurants. But after they found success, almost every subsequent chili parlor took their cues from Empress. In fact, one of their most important contributions was accidentally training their own competition. We speak of one Nicholas Lambrinidis, a former Empress employee. In 1949, Lambrinidis realized that, using Empress as a blueprint, he could open his own restaurant and build a chili empire.
Skyline.
To that end, he opened his first location on Glenway Avenue in Cincinnati's Price Hill neighborhood, where diners could see the city skyline. He then decided to name the place after said skyline, which was kind of a stroke of genius because there's nothing a community loves more than being recognized. It's
Yeah.
the same logic behind your favorite band showing up at the county fair and shouting, "Hello!" Fill in the blank.
Oh, that's Springfield, Stephen.
And the vision was
Love
as
that
simple
saying.
as the food. Fast service, consistency, and a welcoming space. The original menu was tightly focused on chili dishes, conies, and a few other basic staples. No distractions or gimmicks. The wheel had already been invented at Empress. Skyline just needed to turn it into a unicycle and ride it to success, metaphorically speaking. Anyhow, Skyline wasn't an overnight national sensation. In fact, at first it was just one of several new places working off the Empress model. Other chili parlors like Dixie Chili and Camp Washington Chili also emerged.
So how did they get to become the famous Skyline chili?
each with their own tweaks and diehard fans. But over time, Skyline was the one that became iconic. By the early 2020s, it had around 160 locations, with a majority in Ohio and additional restaurants in Kentucky, Indiana, and Florida. It expanded carefully, staying mostly regional, which was absolutely a strength and not a weakness. One of the biggest mistakes new restaurants or any independent business can make is expanding too quickly. Not to mention the fact that part of what keeps local businesses like Skyline afloat is the food tourism of it all. If you could snatch up their grub as easily as you could a Subway sandwich, you'd be less insistent on making sure you get it when you're close by.
And it would become less associated with where it originally came from. Oh.
At this point, you're probably wondering what exactly is in Cincinnati chili and what makes it different from chili con carne. Well, right out of the gate, the beef is ground much finer than most traditional chili recipes. So fine, in fact, it more closely resembles the grind of meat found in Mediterranean dishes. And for Cincinnati chili, the meat isn't browned in a pan to produce a hard sear, but simmered in water to break it down into fine granules. That's what gives it its signature texture that's smooth, yet somehow still grainy. Not entirely unlike a spoonful of grapple gravy, but the spice blend is where things really go off the rails. Instead of leaning on chili powder and heat, like chili con carne, Cincinnati chili pulls from your Nana's Mediterranean-inspired spice cabinet. Of course, everyone makes it a little different, but since Skyline is the McDonald's of Cincinnati chili, theirs is the recipe that everyone wonders about. Obviously, Skyline does not publicize that recipe, so breaking it down takes some guesswork. Cinnamon is certainly an important ingredient.
Has it got a little bit of oregano, bay leaf? Is there like marjoram in it? Oh.
But there's also allspice,
Allspice,
cloves, and possibly nutmeg. There's also something in Skyline chili that leaves a distinctly sweet aftertaste. Nobody outside the company knows what it is, but for the benefit of people with cocoa allergies, they've revealed that it's absolutely not chocolate. Still, there's definitely something there playing on the back and forth between sweet and savory, like apple pie with a slice of cheese on top.
I think it's the cinnamon, because you can put cinnamon into hot drinks and it kind of gives, I don't know, it like gives your taste buds or your brain, whichever one it is, it gives the illusion that it's sweeter than it is. So I think cinnamon is naturally, I don't know what it is about the cinnamon. I don't know what scientifically what it does, but I do think it makes you believe there's a sweetness there that isn't anything to do with sugar. Just couldn't describe what it is.
Just reversed here for maximum wonkiness. And there is, of course, also tomato paste. But it's not the star. And there are no beans in the sauce itself, which already disqualifies it from at least 3 regional chili associations, not to mention starring in any potential remakes of Blazing Saddles. That being said, contrary to popular belief, a lot of traditional chili doesn't have beans in it either. The famously shelf-stable ingredient has traditionally been used to pad out the dish and make it stretch further, like topping off your chicken and dumplings with cream of chicken soup.
And, you know, add a bit of fibre in there. Everyone loves an extra bit of fibre.
You can squeeze another 2 meals out of it. Most importantly, Skyline chili, and Cincinnati chili in general, is not meant to stand alone. Eating it by itself would be like drinking a marinara smoothie. No. This kind of chili only makes sense when it's layered into something bigger, like hot dogs, or even more strangely, spaghetti.
So the controversy, yes, that it's served with spaghetti and pasta. More so that is it one of them where it's like, is it a chili? You know, it's not technically a chili, but it is a chili. They call it a chili, but other people say like, no, it's definitely not a chili. Don't call it that. Okay.
Why put chili on spaghetti? That is the question everyone asks. And the answer has nothing to do with culinary rebellion. It's all about immigration. In the early 1900s, Cincinnati saw an influx of Greek and Macedonian immigrants, and many of them brought recipes for spiced meat sauces, used in dishes like pasticcio and moussaka, sauces that were already meant to go over pasta. But early 20th century America wasn't exactly lining up for Greek food, leaving mountains of olives and feta to run rampant through the streets.
Delicious.
So instead of introducing unfamiliar dishes, those immigrants adapted their flavors to foods Americans already trusted: hot dogs, hamburgers, and spaghetti. Calling Cincinnati chili, chili wasn't about accuracy. It was about survival. Americans knew chili. They romanticized it in westerns, and along with grilling, some say it's one of the only dishes men felt comfortable saying they cooked back then. Chili felt safe, and it sold extremely well. Spaghetti is there because spaghetti is the Switzerland of carbs. It's new.
I think that was a very clever tactic, actually. It's like the narrator said here, you've got your own kind of style of cooking from from your mother country, from where you've come from, but to market it and sell it to the locals, to Americans, you're gonna have to reword it, rejig it a little bit to make it that little bit more familiar, so it's not completely alien to something that Americans are used to eating. I get it. I understand. I get it. I can imagine it's not terrible with pasta at all, because like what a lot of Brits would say is a bolognese, a spaghetti bolognese, it's not that dissimilar, because we generally use ground beef. I know it's not too authentic, but it is how a lot of Brits would make their spaghetti bolognese, and it's not that far from this, you know.
Neutral and doesn't ask questions. You can put literally anything on it, and it'll just lie there and say, okay, sure, this is my life now. Which is exactly the energy Cincinnati chili needed. This same logic also gave rise to the Coney Island hot dog, another regional food that isn't from where it says it's from, and exists almost entirely because, as any influencer will tell you, marketing is important. When it comes to what defines chili, there's no rules Skyline won't gleefully break. But when it comes to ordering chili, Skyline enforces their rules like an authoritarian dictator, solidifying their grip on power. They use what they call the way system, and the point of it is to make the ordering process as smooth as possible.
I have been educated in these systems. I know them. I think it is a good system.
How does it work? Well, instead of ordering chili, you order a number. A two-way is spaghetti topped with chili. A three-way adds a mountain of cheddar cheese, shredded so finely it barely counts as a solid anymore. A four-way adds either onions or beans. And a five-way adds both onions and beans, achieving maximum Cincinnati, where the city itself comes to life, rises from the ground to give you a high five, and shout, "Hoo-day!" You've
got to have the maximum Cincinnati when you try this. You do. It's got to be. I'm gonna go full Cincinnati when I try this.
Before they shrink back into their beloved river. The system is efficient, elegant, and most locations feature a central service island where dishes are assembled in full view of the guests. It can all be a bit overwhelming for first-timers, but once you understand what's going on, ordering is easy. Until then, it might feel like you've accidentally wandered into a restaurant run by mathematicians, or possibly swingers. As for the menu, it has evolved.
I'm glad the narrator said that. It was always in the back of my rude mind.
Over the years, adding vegetarian options that sub out the meat for beans, and some other cost-effective ingredients that can become either wraps or salads. It's like ordering a buffalo chicken wrap, then spilling it out onto a coney, like you're making some sort of Cincinnati Buffalo Power Ranger Zord.
Oh, there are rules and traditions.
Much like with Mogwai ownership, those who buy Skyline Chili must obey 3 important rules. 1, use a fork. No knives, no hands. 2, you accept that it will get everywhere. 3, you may add oyster crackers and hot sauce, but that is all. If you don't obey the rules, no one will physically stop you, probably. But there's a very strong chance someone nearby will stare at you like you just put ketchup on sushi. It's easy
and you may be shunned by every guest in the restaurant. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair. You can only use a fork. Get it? You can add oyster crackers, which are delicious as well, by the way. I've tried them in soup. They're so yummy. I know, small things. But yeah, I get it. In hot sauce. Okay, yeah.
And maybe not wholly inaccurate to say that such behavior is bullying or gatekeeping. But while there's definitely a kernel of truth in that idea, there's also another truth at play. Sometimes people just want you to get the most out of an experience, whether it's food or not. Saying, don't use a knife to eat a coney isn't like saying, you must eat your steak medium rare. Because according to those who love it, part of the joy of Skyline Chili is the mess of it all. For them, it's an essential part of the experience. And there's something kind of blissful about pushing through the cheese and then smothering it in the excess sauce. With a fork, obviously. Don't be that guy.
Get it out of your hands. Love it or hate it.
In Cincinnati, Skyline Chili is a beloved institution. It gives back to the city in a way few corporations do. It's the official chili of the Bengals, the Reds, the Cyclones, the Blue Jackets, and Kings Island. It also sponsors the Crosstown Shootout, inspires kids' costumes, road trips, and according to reports, even a few haikus. Those haikus could not be located, but here's one to try on.
That's a fib. Is it a fib? It's inspired haikus. I love it. I love the mess. I love anything that kind of, you've got to eat kind of interactively with your hands. Really get stuck in there. Makes a mess. I love it. In a caveman comes out and everything.
That's Skyline Chili, the pride of Cincinnati. Ain't it kind of weird? Leave your own Skyline Chili haiku in the comments below. Anyway, a downtown cocktail bar once turned Skyline Chili into a whiskey drink, essentially a Manhattan with house-made chili bitters. Why?
What? Maybe it takes on the seasonings? It can't be any more than that, can it? Maybe, could you, a little bit hot sauce, maybe. I'm not a drinker, so I don't know. What is this?
Well, certainly because of its local cultural cachet, but also because every time a bar turns a cheap regional food fave into a $20 cocktail, a bartender gets their wings. Or vest, one must assume. But outside Cincinnati, people lose their minds. Anthony Bourdain, quite possibly the most celebrated locals-only chef of all time, and the subject of Weird History Food video, Anthony Bourdain's most controversial food opinions, called it a mutant hybrid. But he did so in a positive way when trying to explain the local favorite to a non-believer. In fact, Bourdain went so far as to call it America on a plate after waxing philosophically about its immigrant creation story.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's just like the result of a big kind of melting pot, isn't it? Other cultures have come over, they've brought bits and bobs from their seasonings that they use, cooking methods, and they've applied it, they've changed it to make it less alien for the locals, for the American people. I think it's brilliant. I love it.
And geographically diverse ingredients. Still, some disagree. A Titans fan held a Cincinnati Chili sucks sign during an NFL playoff game, which the Bengals ended up winning for what?
That is low. How dare they?
It's worth. Broadcasters have gone viral calling it disgusting chili gravy.
First, the disgusting chili gravy, and this is supposed to be food that you actually eat.
Even Cincinnati locals have written op-eds declaring their hatred for it. And that's...
Oh my gosh, really? Cincinnati chili is one of the worst things that can be consumed on this planet. Oh my gosh, they are strong words. It really is like, probably like our equivalent of Marmite, isn't it? You either love it or you hate it. I'm struggling to understand the hate at this point, but saying that, I've not tried it yet. I think judging by the things that go into it, the ingredients and how you can serve it, I can't see it being something repugnant or something that you wouldn't want to eat.
Because Cincinnati Chili has become a representative of the city itself. So if a fan or broadcaster wants to express their dismay, it's easy to take a swing at the cinnamon-tinged chili. Which, yeah, fair. But Skyline continues to exist, completely unfazed, because that's what happens when you make something so polarizing. It becomes a lightning rod, inviting as much vitriol as praise.
Yeah, doesn't matter if it's good or bad, at least they're talking about it. So why
Skyline Chili works because it's not trying to be everything to everyone. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't apologize.
Oh, I was just going to say that. It's unapologetic. It is what it is. And that's why it's amazing. I like that.
It doesn't care if you hate it. It's specific, regional, and stubborn in the best of all possible ways. As more and more restaurants become homogenized corporations, it's generally endearing to see someone so steadfast on sticking to their own roots.
Absolutely.
Like Chicago's Malort, widely considered the worst booze in history. Skyline is happily polarizing. It doesn't want to blend in with the crowd or evolve into something universally loved. It's content to be a testament to the fact that you can take recipes from your past and merge them with your present to create the future. And for people who grew up with it, it doesn't taste like chili, it tastes like home. So what do you think? Is Skyline Chili secretly brilliant or just confusing? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from Weird History Food.
Well, that's made me like it even more. I like the stubbornness. I love that. In fact, that's if it's not already, I'm sure it's part of its marketing strategy. Love it or hate it, don't care. I love the stubbornness. And and just the association with where it's from, it's Cincinnati. I think it's a bit of a low blow, taking a swipe at Cincinnati so you make fun of the chili. Don't go there. It's a low blow. Well, there's nothing for it. I'm going to have to try this chili. I'm going to have to see what all the raving is about. And I'm going to have to decide what side I sit on. Am I a lover? Am I a hater? I'm rarely a hater of anything. Actually, no, that's not true. Marmite over here. Just don't even try it. If you haven't, don't bother. It is repulsive. So, you know, I'm not sure which side I'm going to fall on. It's going to be really interesting, actually. Guys, oh, should I ask this? What team are you? What side do you fall on? Are you a lover of the Cincinnati chili? Or do you think it's, I don't even want to say that it's repulsive because I don't know. I might love it. I'm not sure. I need to try it. That's what it is. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Take care of yourselves, my lovelies, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.